Every second, a fighter pilot makes decisions that can mean the difference between life and death. At nearly twice the speed of sound, there's no time to hesitate and no room for mistakes. But before anyone is trusted with one of these incredible machines, they must survive a journey so demanding that most people never even make it to the cockpit. So, what does it really take to become a fighter pilot? Most people believe becoming a fighter pilot is all about learning how to fly. But that's the biggest misconception of all. In reality, flying is one of the final steps. Long before a candidate ever touches the controls of a fighter jet, they're tested, pushed, and eliminated in ways most people never imagine. And that's exactly where this journey begins. For generations, fighter pilots have captured the world's imagination. They fly some of the fastest and most advanced machines ever built, pushing both technology and the human body to their absolute limits. From childhood, countless people dream about sitting in that cockpit. But while millions dream it, only a tiny fraction will ever get the chance to try. Here's the reality. Every year, thousands of ambitious young men and women begin the journey, believing hard work alone will get them there. But at every stage, more candidates disappear. Some fail the exams. Others don't meet the medical standards. And many discover that wanting the job isn't the same as being able to do it. For most future fighter pilots, the journey doesn't begin in the cockpit. It begins with earning a place in the Air Force. In the United States, that usually means years of preparation before you're even considered for pilot training. And from the very first day, you're expected to prove that you have the discipline, leadership, and commitment to wear the uniform. Getting into the Air Force is only the beginning. The next challenge is earning a pilot slot, and that's where competition becomes ruthless. Outstanding grades help. Strong leadership matters. But even that isn't enough, because the Air Force isn't simply looking for smart people. It's looking for people who can perform under extraordinary pressure. Then come the medical exams, far more demanding than a routine physical. Fighter pilots must meet exceptionally strict standards because, at high altitude and under intense G-forces, even a small medical issue can become a serious risk. Eyesight, hearing, heart health, and overall physical condition are examined in extraordinary detail. For some candidates, years of preparation come to an end in a single appointment. Passing the medical exams doesn't guarantee a pilot slot. Next comes something much harder to measure: your mind. Modern fighter pilots process enormous amounts of information in just a few seconds. They must stay calm, think clearly, and make the right decision before the opportunity is gone. That's why candidates face cognitive tests designed to reveal how they perform when their brains are pushed to the limit. But perhaps the hardest test isn't physical or even mental. It's psychological, because in combat, panic spreads faster than any aircraft. A fighter pilot must stay composed while everything around them is moving at incredible speed. That's why instructors aren't just looking for confidence. They're looking for emotional control when every instinct is telling you to panic. After years of preparation, something finally changes. For the first time, candidates are allowed to leave the classroom behind and step onto the flight line. But if you're expecting a fighter jet, think again. Before anyone earns the chance to fly an F-16 or an F-35, they must first master something far less intimidating and far less forgiving: a basic trainer aircraft. At first glance, a trainer aircraft doesn't look nearly as intimidating as a fighter jet. But appearances can be deceiving. This is where every future fighter pilot builds the habits that could one day save their life. Every takeoff, every landing, every radio call, and every mistake is closely watched by experienced instructors. And here, even the smallest error can become a lesson you'll never forget. As the weeks go by, the pace changes completely. Simple flights become complex missions, and every lesson introduces something new to master. Formation flying, instrument navigation, emergency procedures, radio communication. Each skill must become second nature, because in the air, there's no time to stop and think. By the time you need the answer, it's already too late. By now, flying the aircraft is no longer the biggest challenge. The real battle is happening inside the pilot's own body. During aggressive maneuvers, fighter pilots can experience forces up to 9 times the force of gravity. At that moment, every part of the body is pushed to its limit. Vision begins to narrow. Muscle strain. Even staying conscious becomes a skill that must be trained. People often imagine fighter pilots as fearless, but that's not true. Every pilot feels fear. The difference is what they do with it. Instructors know that courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the ability to stay focused despite it. Because at 500 miles per hour, one emotional decision can be far more dangerous than one technical mistake. Long before a pilot faces danger in the sky, they face it inside a simulator. These machines can recreate engine failures, violent storms, bird strikes, and emergencies that no instructor would ever risk in a real aircraft. Here, failure isn't just expected, it's encouraged. Because every mistake made in the simulator is one less mistake waiting in the real cockpit. Then comes the moment every student has been working toward. The first fighter jet. For years, it existed only as a distant goal. Now it's right in front of them. But the excitement doesn't last long. Because climbing into a fighter jet isn't the finish line, it's the beginning of an entirely new level of learning. Modern fighter jets aren't just incredibly fast, they're flying computers. Every second, the pilot monitors radar, fuel, altitude, airspeed, navigation, communications, and tactical information all at once. The aircraft can fly faster than the human brain can consciously process every detail. That's why years of training were never about learning to fly. They were about learning how to think while flying. For most fighter pilots, the mission isn't about chasing enemy aircraft. In reality, many flights involve protecting airspace, responding to emergencies, escorting allied aircraft, or simply being ready if the unthinkable ever happens. Behind every takeoff is a responsibility measured not in speed, but in trust. Because when a nation scrambles its fighter pilots, there's rarely time for a second chance. From the outside, becoming a fighter pilot looks like a journey about flying faster than anyone else. But after everything you've seen, you know that's not the real story. It's a journey of discipline, resilience, and thousands of decisions made long before the aircraft ever leaves the ground. Because in the end, fighter jets don't create extraordinary pilots. Extraordinary people earn the privilege of flying fighter jets. For every fighter pilot you see in the sky, there are thousands of hours you'll never see. The exams, the failures, the training, the discipline, the sacrifices. That's what truly earns someone the right to wear the wings. And if you enjoyed discovering what it really takes to become a fighter pilot, there's another incredible journey waiting for you.